What's going on, everyone? Degen Dave here. I'm back. Last Thursday, I wasn't able to make it. We had crazy technical difficulties in Amsterdam, time crunch. I had everything prepared, but yeah, I'm here now and excited. You're probably like, why is he excited? Well, I've got a lot of setups. I've taken some trades. I'm freaking crushing it with the Bitfunded stuff. There's a 3 for 3. I'm going to be on the Banter Royale tomorrow, so I'm getting ready for that. So stay tuned. I mean, guys, there's a lot to cover here. So let's rock and roll. And you guys know the deal. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you guys are brand new here, my name is Degen Dave. I'm one of the traders in the Chart Hackers, which is an organization within Crypto Banter. And yeah, I was in Amsterdam. We had our first annual Chart Hacker group meetup, and it was amazing. There was a lot of people there, amazing networking opportunity. I know the Bitcoin conference was going on. I personally didn't go to the conference. I think I've been to too many conferences. But yeah, just the future of chart hackers and where we're going, guys, is super exciting. And so if you're like, what the heck is chart hackers? Well, we're TA, technical analysts. We chart stuff, we draw lines, but we also take trades with those drawings. And yeah, we make money when it goes up. We make money when it goes down. And if you guys are following me on Twitter, I did a private Zoom session with the chart hackers, and I was telling everybody that I'm bearish. I'm feeling bearish. It's bear market vibes. If you guys were tuned in on my last show, I said 100K is a very critical level. We have now lost that. I think there's a lot of people just capitulating, but I'm happy for that, right? Because guys, we're in the game. I'd rather accumulate Bitcoin at lower levels than accumulate more Bitcoin at like 200K. I'm completely happy if we go down to 60, 50K. I don't want to get too dark, but with that being said, I did give you guys some shorts in the chart hackers. I actually wrote an ASTER short pretty nicely. Again, there's just a lot to cover. And yeah, my ADD is kicking in, guys. Let's try to get as much alpha as I can here in 30 minutes because that's the time frame. 30 minutes, that's it. Might push it a little bit over that though, 5 minutes or something like that, but let's get into it. Yeah, so Bitcoin 100K lost, right? We have this very important level here. We're seriously in a downtrend. And guys, if you are following me on Twitter, I kind of explain my thought process here. I think we're coming soon though. I think there's going to be a relief bounce. I think there's a lot of, kind of the mindset is, hey, it's bear market. Let's just short it here, but shorting the bottom, you know how it goes. You get, the late shorts end up getting wrecked here. But I'll get into Bitcoin here in just a second. Let's just look at Banter bubbles. Let's put things into perspective. For the week, there's more green than red for the altcoins, right? So that's kind of interesting. Bitcoin going to new lows. Everybody just STBing, shitting themselves and freaking out. But generally speaking, altcoins are doing all right. For the day, I've never heard of this FTN token, so probably want to put that on the radar. Atom coming alive. Why is that the case? I have no clue. Zcash doing Zcash things, WLD. I mean, we're getting a little bit of a injection here for the altcoins. Definitely some strength with the Sol. And then for the hour, yeah, I guess kind of a mixed bag here, which is completely okay. And then, yeah, just kind of sidetracking back to Twitter. If you guys aren't following me, you guys can follow me here at David Sends It here. Again, really happy to meet everybody here. This is the crew. And guys, I'm excited for next year. It's going to be an annual thing. This is our very first meetup here. And my vision and what I told everybody is that, next year, Cape Town, that's kind of the word on the street, and maybe 300, 500 people. But yeah, this was the analysis that I gave about shorts, and feeling bearish. So yeah, free content, guys. Make sure to follow me there. So let's get back into Bitcoin here, right? So look, I'm going to zoom out here and just show you guys what I'm seeing here, right? And if you guys have been following me here, I've had this macro range pull for a while. Right, again, a macro range pull shows you where value area high is, which is right here at around 115. We have a POC at 96, which I was talking about last episode. Is like 96. There's a POC there. We have to bounce there. If we don't, it's going to be bearish. And look, we just slice through the point of control, right? A lot of fear in the market, and there's a reason why, right? And I'm going to bring James up here in a second to talk about that. But if you guys have heard anything about what's going on in Japan, it's having a direct effect on the entire market. So value area low is right here at $86,000. And if you take a fib from that wick low here, this was the April 7th, 2025 low to the absolute high. Let me show you guys, right? Drawing the fib from the low to the high. We are coming right into a 786, guys. You know how I am. 618s are great, but 786s are the bangers, right? So we actually came into the 786 front ran it just a little bit. And yeah, look, I suspect, you know, Asia has the power right now. You know, what is Asia going to do? Let me just kind of zoom in here, right? I think everyone just keeps trying to long the bottom, right? You know, if you keep trying to long the bottom, you get stopped out. You're trying to long the bottom, you get stopped out, right? You get this little rally here, and then boom, they take everybody out once again, right? So, I mean, trying to guess the bottom is very difficult, but I think the spider senses are kicking in, and I think it's coming in soon, right? So I have aggressively started some longs here, some half size, some full sending, you know, but my idea here is that if Asia comes and wicks us into 85, even as low as 84, I think that's where we get that quick buyback, and I'm looking for a relief rally into the 91K mark, okay? Now, let me show you guys what I've done here. I've taken an anchored VWAP in multiple directions here. I have an anchored VWAP dropped from this high here at the 14th of November, and you can see how it's being respected. So let me just kind of zoom in here and make the screen bigger for you guys. But look at the beautiful respect of that anchored VWAP, right? I think any rally into an anchored VWAP is a shorting opportunity, right? Until the behavior changes, that's kind of my mindset, right? So look at this anchored VWAP rejection, right? We had this rejection of the anchored VWAP. We get this little rally pullback, right? A little rally, anchored VWAP pullback, right? So that's kind of my thought process here into Friday. I am kind of feeling like there's going to be a Friday green, kind of just the biggest insult to everyone that got wrecked is pump the market Friday, maybe get a Saturday pump, and you know, we'll be around for the Saturday trading for that. But yeah, kind of suspecting some kind of rally here, guys. I would like to see 91, 92. And then we have this downtrend here, right? So if you're like, hey, where's that downtrend? I want to copy that, right? So I have that downtrend started from the 10th of November here. And you can see that second touch right here on the, was that 12th of November? Wait, so that's a 10th of November, 12th of November touch, then another touch on the 13th of November, you know, kind of almost came there yesterday. And then, yeah, look, 92.5 would be the respect of that trend line. We have a point of control coming in. We have an anchored VWAP. So, you know, for me, that is where the banging shorts are. And look, if we were to invert this and we were in a bull, right, that would be the long opportunity, right? Everybody be like, oh my gosh, if we get this pullback, this is where you freaking send the long. Well, that's what we're going to do with the shorts, guys. It's no different here, right? So if you're scared of shorting, just invert the chart, start programming yourself to take advantage of the shorts, right? So that's kind of my analysis with Bitcoin. If we can break trend, even if we come to 100K, I still think we fade that. I think this is going to be kind of everybody bullish again. And then what do? They freaking nuke it and just wipe everybody out, right? It's a game of liquidity at the moment. You know, if we look at the fear and greed index, we're at 11 right now. Nobody's coming into the market. You know, the traditional markets are nuking right now. You know, why would retail get into the market, right? Right now, it's just really whales just kind of sloshing their money around, putting it into this one and putting into that one. And we got to follow the whales here, right? So that's kind of, again, my thought process here. USDT dominance. Now, this is kind of why I'm expecting a you know, kind of a relief rally, right? Whatever the relief rally is, right? We ride those longs temporarily and then we switch short. But again, what I've done here is I've taken a fib from that wick high to the low, and we have a 382 right now. So we're generally in the 382, and we've always rejected here, right? And I've got this trend line as well, where we have that one touch, two touch. We had that third touch here, right? So, you know, whatever the USDT dominance pullback is, right? This is going to be, I think, the green tomorrow, the green weekend. And then from there, we'll see how we go, right? Do we pull back even more? Or are we going to continue up to the 618 here, right? Which would be pretty dark, which is, you know, again, that's fine for me. You know, we'll you know, if we lose 83, I think we're going down to like 77-ish, right? And again, I don't want to get too dark here, but remember, with these lower levels, you know, short money is fast money. So here's what's interesting too, right? The Bitcoin dominance, we've lost trend, right? So, you know, we're kind of floating around here around the 618, you know, so personally would like to see the 786 tapped. here in the next couple of days. We'll see how we go on that. But, you know, dominance is slowly kind of losing trend and going to the downside, right? So that's kind of the plus side when it comes to alts. And if you guys are paying attention to the alts, yeah, some of them are holding very good levels, and we'll get into that here. Okay, so shifting gears, let's get into some setups right now. You know, this, if you guys are in the chart hackers, I did talk about this setup on you know, past couple Zooms here, right? I said, look, we lost trend on ETH. It's looking really sad. You know, I'm looking for something like this, and so far my drawing has played out, but we're getting very close to the long, right? I told everybody I'm looking to see the 618 tapped here, 2750. Maybe that's what we get during Asia session. We get that 2750, and then yeah, final TP on ETH, and then looking to flip long on Ethereum at 2750. We have a 618 here. We also have a 786. There's two things going on here with ETH, right? So again, fib from the absolute low to the absolute high. We got a hacker zone situation right here at 2750. And then if you take a fib from the impulse move starting on the 22nd of June to the high, you can see that's a 786 as well. So not only do you have a hacker zone on the macro, but you have a 786, and then you also have this point of control here at 2500, right? So I don't think ETH will go much lower than that. But even if we get this amazing bounce, you know, again, I'm bearish, right? I think we're in a bear we have entered the bear market. You know, so the tile is not to fool you, but we're going to make money in the bear market. And yeah, I'm excited to make money in the bear market and accumulate as much USDT to build those massive swing longs for when we do get the reversal. But yeah, looking for ETH potentially to come up here to this trend once we get that relief rally, right? So, you know, just be aware of a big bounce for ETH, 17%-ish, 15%-ish. Yeah. So Aster rode this short. So let me start getting into some setups here, guys. I guess before I get into the setups, I want to talk about Bitfunded. I'm wearing the Bitfunded shirt. There's a promotion going on with Bitfunded here. They just launched a couple things, right? So number one, they just launched $150,000 accounts, right? So not only did they launch $150,000 accounts, but they have an amazing promotion right now called the Black Friday promo, pay 3 and get 3 free, and 100% profit split, right? So I immediately got excited. I bought 3 of the Apex accounts, right? So the Apex accounts is the 150K accounts. And then I guess let me get this loaded up here to show you guys and explain how this works real quick, right? Because this is an opportunity that I think is freaking ridiculous. Okay, so Apex, so I bought 3, I got 3 free here. And what's amazing is you can build these accounts at the same time. Now you can only use the, you know, the tier of the account one at a time, right? So even if I pass, you know, all of these accounts, I can't use them until I blow one of these accounts here, right? So I've got 2 of them cooking right now. I've got, again, multiple accounts going on, and it's kind of a little overwhelming here. But for the 150K account, the target is $162,000. You know, profit target here, right? I've already 4 days in, and yeah, I'm pretty much almost there. I'm like 80% of the way there. You know, I shorted the heck out of Aster here, 50% profit. I just started along on 𝗬𝗏. We'll get into 𝗬𝗏, and also started along on ENA. But yeah, just slow grinding here with that. This is also the expert account that I got, 100K account here. You know, cooking here as well. Shorted the heck out of Ethereum, long in ENA. And then, yeah, I also, on a separate account, I bought the 3 for 3 on the expert here, right? So I've actually already finished stage 1 here, already hit the profit target, just waiting for 1 more day and then going into stage 2 here. But, you know, long story short, take advantage of this, guys. I mean, I'm buying 3, getting 3. I bought freaking 6. I've got 12, right? So it's going to keep me busy for a while here. And yeah, having access to 100K accounts, 150K accounts, guys, using other people's money is the way to go, right? So also got the Apex account cooking here as well. You know, and all you really need is just a couple banger trades, right? So ETH short, like I said, I talked about the ETH short with the chart hackers, took that short and printed quite nicely here. And yeah, basically I've already finished 33% of the challenge account on this here, right? So again, just multiple accounts, just rocking and rolling here, guys. And I encourage you to take advantage of the Bitfunded play here, right? So if you guys are interested, all you got to do is go into the description below, click Bitfunded here, click my link, Bitfunded-Degen Dave D, sign up here, and then yeah, go for the 3 for 3. Basically click this link right here, guys. And I encourage the 2-step, right? The 1-step is okay, but you get, once you pass it, you get kind of less wiggle room for daily loss and maximum loss here. So that's kind of why I've stuck to the two-step. And plus, at the end of the day, it's all about your strategy and your flow, right? It's one thing to be a degen and get, a pass on one go, but you haven't really trained yourself on how to, kind of have this consistency with your trading, right? So that's why I encourage the 2 for 2. But this is how it goes, 100% profit split. So there's no 80-20. And like I said, two-step challenge. This is basically what it is. So the 𝗕𝗵𝗿 account is now live, right? So once the Black Friday promotion goes away, it will just go back to normal prices here. But you guys can see here, $6,500 value for $3,200, guys. That is freaking stupid of a deal, right? So that's why I'm wearing the shirt. I'm excited, I'm promoting it. Bitfunded is a big sponsor of Banter, and they've even got a little promo link here about tomorrow for the battle royale. And there's going to be an opportunity for other traders as well. So we'll get you guys those details as far as how to participate and how you guys can be involved in that, right? Which there will be some prizes and things of that nature, USDT prizes. But yeah, let's get into some setups here. So look, ASTER, I showed you guys, I've been writing ASTER here. I've also got 𝗬𝗏𝗡 cooking here, where I pretty much got a handbag secured for the ASTER setup here. Been talking about ASTER for a while, but we're coming into a long zone very soon. So I do have an alert set here, just kind of the cheat code for ASTER. There's these 2 anchored VWAPs. We have a bullish order block here, and this nice little bounce here. But one of the reasons why I think ASTER is going to go down a little bit more is because Asia opened last night and everything's green, but ASTER was selling off, right? So if Asia is kind of the main bag holder of ASTER and they're selling first, that means they have optimal short entries, right? So I personally feel like Asia will come and wick into the anchored VWAPs, point of control, something like that. That's kind of my idea for ASTER. And I'm looking to flip long, right? I'm looking to flip long. $1.12 is kind of the zone for entry for me here. It's going to be a laddering situation here. So I am short, but I am looking to flip long here with ASTER. And not to toot my own horn, but I've been kind of nailing ASTER left and right. And I don't know what it is, right? Just kind of mindset and psychology and kind of putting myself in the shoes of CZ.
Hey man, just to point out, that was the win entry from today. Dylan's entry was 112 to 110.
No way.
Yeah, exactly what you've got there. So there's some confluence for that. Jump in that thing.
Nice, guys. There you go, right? And it's funny because there's so many times I don't have time to watch Dylan's show, and again, I'm his apprentice, right? And so nice confluence there. So that's the ASTER entry, guys. One entry, 112, and then stop loss below 106. Basically losing that POC there is kind of the invalidation, and looking for a nice little bearish retest, 15%. And then, hey, look, if it's all system goes and Bitcoin rallies to 100K, we can look for higher targets here for ASTER, right? So very volatile token, very manipulated token, but we take advantage of those manipulations. Okay. Now, ENA, I am in an ENA trade. You guys saw on my Bitfunded setups there, I am in ENA. I've also started ENA here on 𝗬𝗏𝗡 as well. And let me just kind of take you through my thought process here. But I think this is a banger. Number one, this is a higher time frame. We have value area low here at 25 cents. And look at the bounces, historically speaking, on this value area low. We had it here back in July multiple times. We had a wick here on the 6th of April. We got pretty damn close here on the 8th of May. We got pretty close here on the 11th of October, 2024, right? So this is a key zone here, right? And if Bitcoin is to bottom out at 85-ish, 786, then ENA is going to have a rally along with all the other altcoins, right? And specifically, I am picking ENA here just because of the value area low here. We also have a bullish order block as well. And daily bullish divergences like crazy here. And I've started the position. Now, I do have a hard stop at 24 cents, but anybody that is looking to ladder into this trade, you could also ladder as low as 21.32. That's a 786 on the wick. So you're probably wondering, how did I get the 786? I'm now calling this the 1010 wick. But if you pull the fib from the 1010 wick to the high here, you can see how we're kind of floating around the hacker zone. 786 is a little bit lower here, but I think if we come down here, I think we're going to see that relief rally here. And again, in a bearish posture, which is completely fine. But if we rally up into this trend here, I'm looking for a 28-30% move here. Right now, if we can break trend and hit the 50-day moving average, then Obviously, this is going to melt some faces here, 73%. And yeah, doing a little bit of research on ENA. They got an announcement here coming out. What is it, in 5 days, introducing mega ETH pre-deposit bridge, 350 likes. They're still actively doing stuff. It's still a thing. And, if they're actively doing things and, we're at these low level territories, for me, it is a banger, right? So entry is freaking right now. And, I think stop loss at 24 cents is a realistic kind of risk to reward there. Give yourself about a 5% wiggle room. But if you are the low leverage laddering type, 16% drawdown to 21 cents, I think that's the absolute bottom. Again, I don't think that's the case. Bitcoin going to 85K, we might see something like this and then the rally here, right? So ENA is a trade I'm in. And once we get up into these territories, obviously want to take some profits at this horizontal level here at 30.86, right? You can see how we lost this support, and seeing price action kind of stop here makes a lot of sense. But if we can go up to the anchored VWAP, that would be even better. And then breaking trend, all that good stuff, 50-day moving average. I mean, there's a lot of higher level targets here if we can break trend and kick on here, right? But at the end of the day, we are in this bearish posture. And I'm just going to write it up, and then, hey, maybe even flip short here and write it down, right? So first things first, let's take the long, and I'm in that trade. Now, if you're paying attention to some tokens that weren't really affected by the bloodbath, I think 𝗬𝗏 is one of them. So I am in a 𝗬𝗏 trade. Just started it on WeX, also on the Bitfunded challenge here. But we're at a 618 right now. We're at a hacker zone, right? So I take a fib from the wick low here to the high, and look at the perfection of that hacker zone. We've literally kissed it to the T here, right? So I'm in the trade. It hasn't been bleeding as bad as some of these other ones, but I do have another order down here at 12.20. And what we have is a value area low, a bullish order block. This is a dang heavy bullish order block, 84.16 and a 786. So here's my play on this. Oh, it's on Bitfunded here. Let me load up Bitfunded. But yeah, I am in the trade in WeX here. As a matter of fact, because I didn't do this yet on WeX, again, 12. Let's look at that one more time. Basically 12.20-ish is where you want to put in these orders here. So 12.20. Let's load it up here. 1500. Okay, 1500. So that's the thing about WeX, guys. Some of these tokens, they allow you only a certain amount to put in per order. Okay, but I'm okay with that. So I put in 5,500 now. Let's get kind of the even number here, right? So I've got a $9,000 position here. You guys are seeing me do this live. And yeah, basically loaded up a bunch of 𝗬𝗏 longs here. So that's 3,000, 6,000. We want to kind of mirror this. So this is the buffering strategy I talk about in the chart hackers. We'll do two more, 1,500 and 1,500, right? So I've got a double down situation going on at 12.20, and 𝗬𝗏 here. This is where I was saying, you guys, even on the Bitfunded challenge, I love it, right? 5x. I've got another order right here at 12.20. Okay, so the idea here is even if Bitcoin goes down to 84.85, 𝗬𝗏 is going to do something like this. I'm going to double down my position and then looking for that massive rip to the upside here. So I've got a half size position here on both Bitfunded and WeX, $5,000 position on the $150,000 account. And yeah, looking to, if we get a pullback, I'm totally excited to add to my position there, right? So that's the idea behind 𝗬𝗏. And yeah, I think there's a lot of whales building into the long here. I've been paying attention to kind of the strong movement here, but I mean, we had this God candle, 40% rip to the upside. And I think there's some institutions and some big people kind of, holding on here, right? And the other thing too is a 4-hour bullish divergence printed here on the chart prime oscillator. And I think, we're going to break trend and we're going to kick on here, right? So I do like this setup quite a bit. Okay, let's dive into some other ones here. So BMEX, interesting here. BMEX is flying when everything else is red, right? So it's on the radar. I don't know if it's a scam or some kind of manipulated, big pump to then wreck everybody, but I am interested in taking BMEX here, right? So in the event of Bitcoin dropping a bit here, this is kind of the cheat code, guys. So 0.0035, this is the BMEX entry, right? So essentially what I've done here is I've taken a anchored VWAP from the absolute low here, and look where it's coming in. It's coming in at this value area low. So would love to see something like this, and then for us to get the entry. So this is also a on Bitfunded. So yeah, again, I'm just trying to highlight more Bitfunded setups than the other ones here, just because I know there's a lot of you guys trying to take advantage of the opportunity. But yeah, probably a laddering situation. The other thing I like about BMEX is on the daily, we have a blue reversal dot, guys. So if the altcoins are kind of been oversold to the, to hell, and Bitcoin is, I mean, look at this, Bitcoin's down 5% and BMEX is up 6%. Something is going on here, and I want to be able to take advantage of it, right? So this is kind of how my thought process works. Whenever we get meltdowns, I'm looking for tokens with strength. 𝗕CI is another one. I've got 𝗕CI coming to you guys here in a second, just to kind of highlight 𝗬𝗵𝗿, again, down 4%, while Bitcoin and Ether are lower than them. So yeah, I really like where BMEX is going here, and kind of the idea for BMEX is we catch the pullback, and then yeah, definitely want to take some profits at this point of control here. And then we have a value area high kind of here, right? And again, since we are at low level territories, I mean, guys, this is going to be a nice little 20% rip. The other idea here with BMEX is I've taken a fib from the 1010 wick, right? So from here to the high, and we're pretty dang close to that 786 as well. So even if we get some crazy dump, and I'm going to be watching this, but I think if we come down to the 786, I think that's the bottom for BMEX, especially with that blue reversal dot. So this is idea number one, but idea number two could be simply this here at the 786. And yeah, would love to see this right up to the point of control on this fixed range pull or even 50-day moving average, guys. And we're looking for a freaking banger, right? So this to me is like a swing long opportunity. Even if we come up to the POC, we could still be bearish, right? But I am looking to capitalize on the big move here with BMEX. Okay, so eyes on BMEX. Now, let me get into this, right? If you guys were paying attention, I think maybe a couple sessions ago, I definitely gave it to the chart hackers on the Sunday banger, but I gave this super long. And the long played out perfectly here, right? POC, we had a 75% rip to the upside. And here's the deal. We have retraced quite nicely here to the 786, and we're bouncing, right? So this is I am feeling the FOMO with Supra. While the market's melting down, we've got freaking rips to the upside here. 100% rip. Guys, this was a 100% rip to the upside with Supra. And we've had this ridiculous retrace. We've bounced perfectly off the 786 fib. And yeah, I've pretty much aped into a half-sized position. So here I am on WEX. Here's my super position. I just got in. It's up 20%. I'm 20x long on cross. I've got a $17,000 position. But my plan here with Supra is to DCA or even add more if we get some kind of stupid dip down to this region here. Now we have a point of control at 15.0015. I think that's the stops. But like I said, even if we come down to this territory, I think that's an adding opportunity. And because we have tried to hit these highs, I think we're going to make another move to these highs again, right? And these guys are freaking cooking finally. You're probably wondering, why is it pumping? Is it a scam? No, it's not. If you guys do some research, they're finally kicking off a lot of the stuff that they've promised. 2 days left. They've got the super EVM parallel execution happening here. They've had 2 airdrops. They've got partnerships with Solido. There's a public sale going on right now with Degen Labs. It's going to be basically, they have a decentralized, kind of like Hype, a decentralized leverage platform, which is going to bring some money into this layer one here, guys. And these guys don't care about the market dips. They just keep on doing what they're doing. And yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting the owner. One of the owners, actually, John, at this guy right here. I met him at Singapore, and I've got his direct contact now, and he's kind of filling me in a little bit with the alpha, right? So I'm excited about this, and yeah, it's a banger setup here. 4-hour bullish divergence as well, guys. So low leverage, build into it. WEX is pretty much the only exchange that allows you to have somewhat of a decent size with Supra. All the other exchanges don't. So if you're like, hey, I want to get in on that trade, again, go into the descriptions below. I've got a WEX link here, and you get a 20% deposit bonus. So if you deposit $5,000, you're going to get an extra $1,000, right? So again, same thing. If you put $1,000 in, you're going to get an extra $200. So make sure to take advantage of that, guys. And again, I'm excited. So again, it started a 𝗬𝗵𝗿 position. 𝗕CI, I want to get into 𝗕CI here. I've got a couple more. I guess it's already 5:30. Trying to go as fast as I can, cover as much as I can. Let's go. Okay, so ICP. Look, if we get that extra dump, guys, I'm looking to get into an ICP here, right? So I have an alert here just to save some time. This is where I have the alert here at 4444, $4.44. We have a value area low. We have a 50-day moving average. We have a point of control. I told everybody in the chart hackers about the short. Look at this bearish posture that we're in. We can't even get the bearish retest into the trend for the short, right? So this short idea was a good idea, never played out. Now we're just looking at the long here, guys. But like I said, I love 786s. We have a 6-hour bullish divergence also on the 12-hour time frame, or I think it's the 10, one of these here. Must have been a different token here. But yeah, no, that's what I saw here, guys. ICP is looking like a banger. Again, let me kind of show you the higher time frame. Okay, so look, fixed range volume profile, value area high at $10, point of control at 490, and value area low at basically 444. We also have a 786 on this move here, guys. So a little bit of a degen play here, but I think we're going to get a breakup trend for ICP, and I think I could totally see us going to $6 here. So looking for a 40% move here, not in the trade, but anticipating that extra dump here to get the position, right? So if Bitcoin does go to 85, 83-ish, I can see ICP coming into these zones here, right? So a little setup here just in the event of us going to lower levels here. Looking oversold here as well on the 1 hour, so looking primed. And then SCI, I want to get into SCI here. Yeah, I'm looking at SCI as a swing trade, and this is kind of where I got kind of mixed up with ICP and SCI. But look on the 6 hour, we have snake eyes bullish divergences. We haven't really done too much here. On the 10-hour time frame, or was it 12? We have a bullish divergence as well. And then on the daily, we have blue reversal dots and bullish divergences. But the main thing for me here is we are at a very crucial, massive horizontal level here. Back basically in 2023, where we saw this as a resistance. Then we flipped support right here, and we had this crazy run. We essentially did this big round trip back into this horizontal. And look where we're at now. We are here right now. So I started a position on SCI. You can also do it on Bitfunded, half size position here. So SCI, let me pull this up. Okay, so I've got nothing crazy, $10,000 position here. But like I told you guys, I'm looking to ladder into this here at 13 cents. So I have another order, double down situation. This is the buffering strategy. I mean, really, this is the time where you start using the buffering strategy, guys, when it's so low like this and you know the bottom is coming, or at least some kind of big bounce here. So I'm in the position now, kind of just take you through my thought process on the shorter time frames. Okay. But yeah, in the position now, if we get any dips down to the 618, which is the hacker zone on the 1010 dump, right? You guys saw my extra order here. You're looking to basically merge positions here and then looking to ride this guy up to the 50-day or wherever it wants to go, right? I mean, there's a point of control here at 18 cents. Value area low retest would basically be 21.39. That's a 50% move here, right? So again, kind of in this bearish posture with most of the altcoins. And so, yeah, I'm kind of thinking optimistically here, but if we get any pumps, 10% pump, take some profits, 20% pump, take some profits, just pay yourself, guys. Don't round trip. But definitely a crucial level to take some profits here is around 17 cents. TP when happy, really, right? So that is SCI. It's 5:33. I guess let me get into some near stuff here, right? So again, really excited about near, long-term bullish on near, and it's coming into a freaking amazing zone right now. So I've got a couple fibs going on here from the 1010 wick to the high. We have a 786 creeping in at 190. And then from the impulse move from the 4th of November to the high, we're coming into a 786 very soon. And also we're kind of forming a rising trend situation, right? So this is a banger, in my opinion, where if Bitcoin does drop to that 85, 83, whatever the case may be, I think near is one of those strong tokens to ladder into and looking for a nice little rally here. Even if we rallied into the resistance, that's a good TP zone. If we can break above that, find that as support, and then make our rally up to value area high, I mean, the risk to reward is going to be pretty damn stupid here. About a 58% move. But even if we do rally up into the resistance, I mean, that's a 24% move here, right? So you guys can see I have an alert set here basically at $2 psychological level. You could probably even set an alert here at 204. And the idea here is just nibble away, get your position here, don't get stopped out, and then ride this one to wherever it wants to go. Okay, so I do like near. And yeah, those are the bangers that I have for you guys, right? So, kind of giving shorts right now is risky in my opinion. Not really crazy about giving you guys shorts right now. But, I think getting prepared for longs, building into some longs is a really good strategy here. Now, I do want to talk about macro stuff real quick. I want to bring James up here before we end the show. Again, we're 5 minutes over, but I want to make sure we get you guys all the alpha here. But yeah, it's interesting. Like my father, he's into Forex and stuff. He's a big like analytical guy like myself. And he called me and he's like, look, I know you're into this crypto stuff, but I think it's important that you understand what's going on with Japan. And so what's going on, and kind of in summary, and I'll have James elaborate, right? But Japan has had these interest-free kind of loans forever, right? Low interest. And there's a lot of whales that have taken advantage of this loan thing and have dumped it into crypto, right? Like barely any interest, right? And they made an announcement that sometime in December, they're going to announce a raise in that interest, right? So if you're a whale and you have millions and millions of dollars into this loan, and they're going to announce that they're raising the rates and you're seeing your crypto portfolio drop, what's the natural reaction? I got to pull out of crypto. I need to get out of this loan. And then what do I do at that point, right? Are they going to take their money and put it back into crypto? I don't know, but there is more to the downside coming here, guys. This is macro stuff. And James, please elaborate on some of these details.
I looked up the actual date when we were live here, and it's December 17th is the actual rate cut decision in Japan. And this is the exact same thing that caused the massive crash in August of 2024, right? It was the Japanese carry trade unwind. And that's the problem, is that they had near 0% interest borrowing. So they'd borrow that money, like you said, over there for almost nothing. Then they would take it and put it into stocks, crypto, whatever in the US here, because you could borrow it for free. It's free money that you can then dump in, make your interest, pay back your loan with a tiny bit of interest as that goes up. And that's what happened back in August of 24. They raised the interest rates, and that's what caused that huge crash back then. And yeah, we're looking at the exact same thing could happen here now. And they've also, I mean, Japan's in trouble financially, big trouble. All countries are, but they've just announced a massive stimulus package too. They're dumping in $110 billion, I think. It actually caused the yen to start to rise immediately afterward. And we got in trouble there a bit already too, because with those loans, even regardless of the interest rate, you've got to pay it back in yen. So the yen's more expensive, means you need to use more US dollars to pay back that yen loan. And then the interest rates go up on top of that, yeah, this could be ugly. Very and ugly, it's the fear of that carry trade all over again.
Yep, it's that carry trade, guys. Look it up, do some research. It's called the carry trade. People have been waiting, and it's happening right now in December, in the time of crypto. And yeah, and if that's to be, well, guess what? We're going to be ahead of it. We're going to ride the big shorts. We're going to take advantage of it. And my father kind of speculates there's going to be a crazy wick in all the markets, but that there'll be an immediate buyback, right? So, here in the Chart Hackers, guys, we're going to make sure we get that, nail that. But that's coming down the pipeline, guys. And in less than 30 days, expect some crazy dump here in the future. So,
Another one.
Yeah. So, well, thank you, sir, for that.
No problem.
Yeah. Any other macro stuff that people should be aware of?
No, I mean, I'm sure everybody heard NVIDIA yesterday. That was the big bullish news that got everybody so excited, right? They beat earnings. They've increased their projections for next quarter. They're selling out of everything. And that's how we rallied like crazy on that. And that all got reversed this morning as soon as the jobs numbers came out. Jobs numbers were more than double what was expected. And so that really threw people off, because that goes against the possibility for rate cuts coming up here on the 9th of December for us in the States. So yeah, that just turned everything around, because NVIDIA went up. I forget what the amount was, like $450 billion in market cap. It erased it all completely this morning by like noon, right? It was a 24-hour pump and dump of $450 billion in market cap.
Yeah, it was a pump and dump on something with real
with real
right?
use case. They've got massive sales. Yeah, and there it was, come and gone. Yeah. So if you took profit, that's great. Otherwise, most people, I think, round tripped overnight, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's okay though, guys. I know there's a lot of chart hackers that got the shorts, and that's the reason why you need to be a part of the chart hackers, right? So, but yeah, guys, we're already 10 minutes over. I want to kind of just close out with a promotion that's going on, right? So after this show, I'm going to be posting all my charts. I've got my own section, so I'm going to post kind of like the trades that I'm in and kind of my idea and like invalidations and all that. So if you guys want all the details or a little bit more in depth of details, make sure you guys sign up for the chart hackers. But yeah, let me kind of explain what's going on here, right? So, in the chart hackers, we've been around for a year, and we have so many testimonials of people changing their life. I mean, I met a guy in Amsterdam that made like a 200 grand with the chart hackers, and he was so thankful. He even gave money to everybody. I gave like 10, I forget, a couple $1,000s or whatever to just give to random chart hacker members, right? I mean, like, we're changing people's lives, and there's a lot of value here. And anyways, we are, the price is going up, right? So it's going to go to, it's $99 a month, but it is going up to $149 a month. But anybody that gets logged in now before December, forever, your membership will stay at $99. As long as you are a continuing member, you will never get that price increase to $149. So this is kind of like first movers advantage, like get in before the door closes, take advantage of it here. Also, we're going to have a discount as well for those that want to subscribe for a year. So again, go into the description below, limited offer here. We have monthly and yearly packages. Click the link here and get signed up, guys. So there's a 1 year, there's a monthly, whatever the case may be. But yeah, again, I just wanted to kind of tell you guys that before the price goes up, and for you guys to lock in your spot here with the chart hackers, guys. And it's like a gym, right? It just costs money to go to the gym. If you're not seeing the results, then get off the membership, right? But I think 150 is just kind of a steal of a deal here.
Well, what a great metric right here in the comments. Hackers is so good for $3 a day. That's literally all it costs you.
You can't even buy Starbucks for $5
right.
a day.
If you can't make $3 a day to pay for that, there's something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So make sure you guys click the links below, take advantage of it. You still have a little bit of time, right? Because it's Black Friday. This is probably going to go on for another week, but I definitely wanted to get the message out here to you guys here. And then again, Bitfunded, make sure you guys take advantage of the Black Friday. Just take advantage of all the Black Friday stuff. And yeah, to kind of finish it off here, guys, like I said, Bitcoin, this is kind of my idea here, right? Like, however low we go, maybe there's a deviation down to 84-ish, whatever. I see us getting this relief rally, wreck all the late shorts, and for us to rally up into $92,000, right? And which is going to take all the altcoins with it. Maybe this happens this weekend, and that's why I gave you guys nothing but longs. Let's see how it plays out. I could be absolutely wrong, and we nuke down to 70K and everything's invalidated, right? This is not financial advice, but this is calculated gambling at its finest. So with that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in here. And I will be back normal time next Thursday. Banter Royale tomorrow. So for those of you guys that want to be there, support, I'm 3-0. Hopefully I can keep the streak going. Also coming into the future here, they have me kind of on deck to do some scalping, live scalping with everybody. And that's coming down the pipe.
What time is Banter Royale tomorrow? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I know it's kind of like 9:30 my time. South African time, probably like 3:30
before the show then. So you'll be doing that in the morning. Yeah,
probably before the show. Yeah, probably before the show. I've got to wake up at 2 in the morning to do some sound checks. That's how definitely it's going to be early in South Africa, or at lunchtime for South African time, something like that. Yeah, so that's coming. And also for those of you guys that are in the chart hackers, we're doing a collab session with 𝗕𝗓𝗘 here in a short period of time, guys. So bring the alpha. And with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next trade. Cheers and bye for now.